Well, welcome back to Epic Cars, and today we are working on Project Country truck. This is a project that I started a few weeks ago. Bought this truck out of Kansas. It's got a rebuilt engine, runs really good. I've been really kind of testing it out over the last few weeks, kind of running errands with it and things like that. Hasn't missed a beat. It's really done really good, and most importantly, Hank likes it, our new shop dog. So what I was going to do was kind of do a project where I was going to keep this paint two-tone, do the trim, you know, really make it as stock appearing as possible, but with some performance upgrades and some little things here and there. Well, because of Hank, he's over there eating right now, so I'm not going to disturb him. Because of Hank, he's kind of an older dog. He's about 10 years old, and it's really tough for him to get in and out of vehicles. So my original plan was going to lift it and put probably a 4-inch lift on it and things like that, because I wanted to fit these 315 75 16 tires on it. And because of Hank, because I got Hank now, I'm going to change my plan. I'm not going to lift it. I'm not going to raise it anymore. I got the 315s on, and they rub like crazy on the fenders. And as you can tell, there is a bunch of cancer in all these fenders. But look at those meats. They fill out the wheel well really nice. It's just when I have to turn. So I've kind of already done some banging to make it clear. Back's obviously not a problem because it's a flatbed, but I love it because it gives it a really nice aggressive appearance. But again, I was going to lift it about 4 inches to kind of give it that stance. I've decided not to because of Hank. Hank's just, you can kind of tell he's kind of a limpy old dog. He's just an old dog. He's had a rough life. And so this is going to be my main vehicle that we run around town in and do errands and such. And so I'm not going to lift it any more than it is. It already went up a little bit with the 315s compared to the 265s that were on there. And I'm going a total new direction. So I was going to use this vehicle as my kind of marketing truck for my roofing and construction company. I'm really sad that I'm not going to go back with the original colors. I'm not going to go back with the blue and white. It's again, kind of one of those decisions I just had to make on the fly. If I want a really, truly original truck, maybe I'll go into that project again someday. But there's so much cancer on this truck. There's so many things that need to be addressed, specifically with the fenders and the doors. And if you noticed, it has the racetrack trim around it, and finding that trim is pretty hard. I kind of thought it would be a little easier than it was. I can find fenders and doors, but typically they're just as beat up as what I have on here. So I think I'm going to go still the two color theme, but I'm going to do the classic. And I had a truck like this a few years ago, the black with the silver and then the red pinstripe. So I'm going to make this. And those are kind of my company colors, Red Stag. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a true marketing truck. And so I got to kick up the game a little bit. And so I thought, if I'm kind of redoing everything anyways, why not do something that I have not seen before? And typically this is done on a 2-wheel drive truck. But even when it's done on a 2-wheel drive truck, I haven't seen it done that many times with a flatbed and kind of an old 3/4 ton farm truck. I'm going to order the fiberglass fenders that are kind of the pre-runner fenders, which not only bring out the fender and give it kind of a bulge, but also have a higher cut line on the fenders to where I don't have to lift this at all. Another reason for not lifting it is the ride right now is pretty good. I mean, it's not like supple, you know, like a luxury car, but it's comfortable. It's comfortable enough to be driving around on the areas that I drive. I'm not going to be taking it crazy off-road, anything like that. Mainly this is just a get-around truck, haul supplies, take Hank wherever he needs to go, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to leave the altitude right where it's at, but with the bigger tires, and then just do the pre-runner fenders up front. Then it gives me my kind of extra bulge that I need to handle any turning of the wheels. I don't have to worry about the wheels, you know, sticking out. You can see right there, they're not necessarily sticking out any further. I could put spacers on the front to kind of give it a little better look. I may end up doing that, who knows. But mainly I'm looking for the clearance for turning radius. And when I do have any suspension travel, something that's not going to hit the fender. Now the plan for today is to put some new shocks on it. These shocks are all wore out, things like that. If I'm not going to raise the suspension, I didn't have to worry about getting different shocks and things like that, longer shocks. What I'm going to do basically is just make the suspension better. And so what I've done is gone out and got some of these coilovers. I can now, you know, it's one of those things where I can now say I've got coilovers on my truck. Now these are cheap, guys. I got them off Amazon. I'll put the link in below, but I don't know. I think for all 4 shocks and a steering stabilizer was definitely under 200 bucks. And to be able to get some load adjusting shocks is a really good thing. I kind of was going back and forth on whether I should do this for the front end, but I am going to go ahead and do it and see how that works out. Hopefully it doesn't ride any worse. But the rear shocks, at least they've got this support, this helper spring in it, to where you still get the dampening quality of a shock, but when you start overloading it, I put a trailer on this, I put a bunch of shingles, things like that, it's going to help kind of keep the entire truck level. And of course, steering stabilizer, not that it's, you know, got a lot of bump steer or anything like that right now. It's just best to upgrade it while I'm underneath there. And of course, this is a little Monroe. So as you can tell, most shocks are just held in by 2 bolts. It just depends on how rusty those bolts are and how good they come off to fight us. I think I can do it without the wheel and tire off, and obviously got to go to the driver's side and get that one done. And then the back's got quite a bit more clearance because of the flatbed, so it should be easier to do the backs. But I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm going to start with the hardest first and start on this one. Of course, they got a bolt on the inside that we got to get to, which that sucks. Don't know if this is going to come out. We just don't have enough clearance. I don't know why I don't use my lift more. I've got a lift, and I just don't, because it's usually got something on it. And it just takes, I've already got to spend 30 minutes getting ready. Okay, so that's just in there. Probably because I don't have my truck jacked up enough. Let's resituate and maybe we can make it easier. Yep, that was the ticket, was having the tire at full droop. Made it a lot easier to get that bolt out. So, looking at the shocks, sure looks like that's gonna fit. Now this one has a little spacer in it. Whoops, because I got it upside down. That might help. There we go. So you can see, same height, same everything without a lift kit on it. It just has the coilover. Coilovers all around, baby. I really need to get some psychological help for my hoarding. I have a huge shop and I got so much crap in it. Jeez. You know, I started the auction company mainly to get rid of my own stuff. Oh, that fell down. And don't get me wrong, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. My problem is I love to buy things. I just see things and they're, you know, when I say that, I'm not like a online home shopping network kind of guy. Clothes, I haven't bought new clothes in as long as I can remember. I mean, typically I just get shirts and stuff like that at Christmas and birthdays, and my wife is doing it for me. But if I see something that's just like, hey, wait a minute, I'm gonna go down a little bit here. God, get out of my way. Okay. There we go. Let's go a little further in. If I see something like at an auction, or, you know, it's mostly tools or supplies or stuff like that, and it's going for 10, 20 cents on the dollar, you know, you gotta buy it, right? Never pass up a deal. This is kind of a sketchy jack job, but it's not like I'm taking the tires off, so if it falls, it's not going to crush me. It may pinch me, and I'm definitely going to need tetanus shot after this, because I've scraped myself on the fenders 100 times. All right, I like that. It's good enough for me. Hank's kind of spoiled. I got him in this really nice bed. I got a fan going right underneath an air conditioner, and his food is only steps away, so he's got a pretty good life now. Didn't have a very good life before. So we got to make up some time. Well, got the other side on, so now I got coilovers on the front. Gonna work on the back. All right, went down to it was 3/4 now, it's 11/16. Let's see if it comes off. It did, pretty easily. I don't know what it is with this snap-on. Gosh dang it, it does this to me every time. It like backs off and just gets stuck on that head. I don't know if it just got damaged or something. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's my sockets are kind of wallered out or something. But it's only with this snap-on that it does this. I've got a Bauer. I never know where it's at. I have it in one of my trucks or something. But it always just kind of causes problems. But all right, let's see here. Well, I didn't expect this. I don't know if you can tell that the right side, I put the right side shock on and it's a little bit higher than the left side. And sure enough, I measured them. And the stock side is from the ground to the bottom of the bed, 37.5 inches. And the right side is 38. So I gained 1/2 inch by putting that shock on. So that's interesting. I don't know if I gained anything on the front. I just didn't notice. But hopefully I did. 1/2 inch all the way around wouldn't be terrible. I can still get Hank in and gives a little bit better clearance. So I don't know, just kind of interesting, but you can definitely see it's tilted. So I'm going to raise this side also when I put this other shock on. One more to go. All right, there's all the nasty shocks. They all seem to have good rebounds. So I mean, I don't think they were blown. This one looks pretty close to being blown. That may be what the reason why I got a little bit of a lift, 1/2 inch. And sure enough, this side was 38. And when I put this one back on the ground and measured it, it was 38. So I gained 1/2 inch of lift. Only issue is I didn't measure the front. So I have no idea if I got a little bit of a lift out of that or not. It kind of looks like it, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it looks like it's a little taller. So if I got a 1/2 inch out of that, that helps too. So shocks are done. You wanna see what they look like? They're pretty sweet. And now I have coilovers all the way around. I'm pre-running. I'm a California boy, but I'm always gonna be an Okie. All right, I got the steering stabilizer on. I don't know if you can see it very well there, but it is up in there. Got a power steering leak. There's for sure, because I got power steering fluid all over my leaf spring right there. But so the coilovers are on, the steering stabilizer's on. Gave me a little bit of a lift. Now we're gonna work on cancer. So I'm gonna trim some of this cancer back. I mean, you can see this fender is just toast. The interior is not too bad. The wheel well inside is not terrible, but this outside, this used to have a little piece of trim on it. I just took it off, and obviously that piece of trim was just holding in moisture and just ate it all away. But yeah, that's a lot. So I'm gonna trim it up a little bit, try to make it look as best as I can until we do the big fender trick later. Yeah, at least it's kind of straight. Probably should move this. There. One time I was welding, and you might be able to see it on the screen. I got hot things that landed right on the glass and melted it, so I got to be really careful. All right, let's see what else we got to cut here. Well, at least it's halfway straight. I wouldn't say that looks better, but at least it's more clean. A little cleaner. Got a little notch there, but it is what it is. All right, this side, again, pretty bad. I guess, maybe not as bad as that other side, but I'm just gonna kind of, I guess, even this up a little bit. Best I can, make it look decent. Ouch, that hurt. They got me. All right, let's see. But I'm the one wearing flip-flops and shorts. It's just so blasted hot here in Oklahoma. You can't work with regular stuff on. Yeah. It's not a good project until you draw blood. All right, there you go, all in one place. All the shocks and the steering stabilizer. And I guess they were Monroe's. I don't know, I thought they were Monroe knockoffs, but they're Monroe shocks. I don't know what Tenneco is. Maybe that's a distributor, or maybe they're owned by the same people, I don't know. But they fit perfect. I didn't have to hardly do anything. And they look pretty sweet, if I say so myself. Like I said, now I got coilovers. So, project's coming along. This is Hank's truck, so I guess I'll have to ask him what to do next. Hey, Hank's kind of deaf, so you have to yell really loud. Hey, what do you want to do next? Hank? Really? That's very enlightening. He probably says, because he's so stinking hot, air conditioning needs to be next, and I would agree with that wholeheartedly. So, hey, Hank, hey, you see this over here, buddy? Yeah. He's a good dog. He's one of the best dogs we've ever had, old dude. But man, he stays right by your side. He's just so happy to see you all the time. Fetches like crazy. You throw a tennis ball and he'll bring it right back to your hand. Just a good guy. He's kind of had a rough life. We're starting to fatten him up and cleaning his ears, and his eye infection's under control now, and just stuff like that. He's got all his shots, so he's good to go. Hey, buddy. He's got about the longest tongue I've ever seen in a dog, but he's doing pretty good. He's got a pretty good life now. So, hey, hey. Yeah, it's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, you got to say goodbye. Is that how you want to do it? Yeah, I agree with Hank. Just, it's hot. We need to go inside and lay down and do nothing. And be in AC. I think that's a good idea. So until next time, Hanks, you know, that's how boring I am. Oh, you woke up for a second. Well, until next time, guys, thanks for watching Epic Cars. Country Truck's got a long way to go, but I think we've got a pretty good direction, thanks to Hank here. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Remember, God is great, and dogs are pretty cool. Thanks for watching Epic Cars. Take care.